Greetings all, and welcome to week 5 of GRA 310. We've seen the coding view. We're still seeing the coding view. We've put ourselves in our user's shoes. We've thought about web structures and how web pages are planned, designed, and executed. This week we'll continue to use CSS to shape our pages. By the end of the week, we should be able to assess the value of CSS, critique websites from the point of view of using CSS, and to be able to format our own HTML files using cascading style sheets. So what are cascading style sheets? And why are they considered to cascade? Essentially, a cascading style sheet means that styling rules cascade down through child pages unless interrupted by an inline style tag. By now you may have noticed that web hierarchies are branching structures with sub-levels. And what cascading means is that the DNA, the styling of the parent page, echoes down through the children pages. There are 3 kinds of CSS. We've already encountered one. That's where we have coded some basic styles, maybe indicated a heading. Head 1, some of you did, in the very first coding exercise. That's called inline styles. These inline style tags have to be added manually, and they take precedence over any other style sheet, so be careful about using them. They're the easiest to make, but they're also the hardest to get rid of. An embedded style sheet is one that is placed between the head and the close head tags in your HTML document. Remember, HTML pages have a head and a body, and today you'll learn about a footer. The styles are then referenced throughout the rest of the HTML document or page. External style sheets are trickier, but what they are is they're like an embedded style sheet, but instead of being inside the HTML document, they are saved as separate external files. And in our case, what we're going to do is we're going to use we're going to call our style sheets styles.css, and we're going to place them between the head tags. Now, just by the way, many of you who had used typefaces from your corporate style guide had called on a routine because they're not typefaces that are universally viewed on the web. Any type styling tags need to be in the head if you're going to call on an external font. By using an external style sheet, it's much more convenient to style and change many pages. Our websites will probably be 5-6 pages max. But can you imagine a many-layered website of maybe hundreds of pages? Recoding each of those pages manually is just not efficient use of time. And so style sheets in cascading style sheets allow you to concentrate on the HTML without a lot of styling tags mixed in also. Think of style sheets in InDesign. Remember how if you have a multi-page document, you don't want to be coding heads manually. You want to be able to change it in the style sheet and then have that change echo throughout the document. Very similar idea for cascading style sheets. Also, this week we'll continue to do browser testing. And this time we'll be focusing on our HTML code, writing valid code. Now, while HTML5 and CSS3 are implemented irregularly across operating systems and browsers, there still is a standard which we have to reach in order to make our coding valid on the widest variety of browsers and platforms. In our peer review this week, what we'll do is we'll discuss cascading style sheets, we'll give and receive feedback, and then 5.2 coding activity, you're going to be formatting and validating your code. Now, I think you're welcome to do an external style sheet if you want to anticipate next week, but it's fine for you to make a embedded style sheet in between your head tags. And then you're going to validate it too. And let me just give you a little quick demo here of validation. Now with regard to validating your code, I noticed, and it may work for you. I noticed that when I went to this link, the W3 Schools Validator, that the page could not be found. So here's a workaround. Here's what you need to know. XML and HTML are very similar. They're exactly alike, basically. However, the standard for gauging valid XML code is stricter than it is for HTML. So what I suggest you do is you use the XML validator in the w3schools.com resource. And you can submit your code here there's a dialog box here. You can check the syntax of your HTML or XML, knowing that they're more or less synonymous for our purposes. And you can see how it checks out. And so use that as a workaround if you cannot get to the HTML validator. So spread the word that you might need to use the XML code validator. Now, one last thing to think about this week. In the news, I think you've heard about the laxing privacy laws governing internet. And I just want you to think about that internet privacy legislation, and also that, hosting services such as GeoCities will place tracking and search code on your pages, as we saw last week. Something to think about. All right, don't hesitate to call or email me if you have any questions.